Welcome to the Raise Up Mindset podcast with your hosts, Charlie and Athena Grimm.
Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to season 2, episode 12. We're going to talk about, again, reigniting your spark as a leader. I'm Charlie Grimm. This is my wife, Athena Grimm. And we're here to talk to you about discussions about reigniting your spark as a leader. I know I've said that. I think it's like your spark in your relationship with your spouse. I mean, you gotta get that spark up once in a while. You
gotta be intentional about creating the spark.
Yes, and I think that's for your leadership team. And I think that's for your employees. That's all that. I think everybody looks at you guys like we are the almighties, like we have all the answers. And we gain a lot of the answers as with time. We gain knowledge with time. But sometimes we don't have all the answers. We gotta get depth and figure them out and what we're doing, and I think that is important. I think that's important to know. I mean, everybody will call up and say, what's this? And there's a lot of things that, that people can ask us a question. We know the answer right away because we've been in that situation. But sometimes, you don't know. So you have to kind of create your own spark. And I think there's lots of ways you create spark. I think one of the ways that I do is to be able to go on vacation and to unload and to have time off and then have the team run it. And then, you kind of help quarterback it a little bit, but you get that time off. And, we know it's important for our employees to have that downtime. And then, once you're gone long enough, you're like, I kind of miss work. I kind of miss like some other things, but it's 90 degrees here. Maybe I don't miss the 5-degree weather that's going on right now, but I just think there's different ways of creating that spark.
And I love how you have recognized that about how you lift your spark, because when we first started business, we never went on any vacations. No. We never did any of that.
We had no money.
But we could have done things
100%.
that took time off to have some downtime, but we had a story we needed to be here to do it because we were the only ones that could do it.
Well, and we've coached so many people through that. Yes. That was our story. Like you said, that's what we believed. The blinders were on. Shoot, if we left for a week, what if this didn't get done? We lose our contract.
The sky is falling.
Yeah, and that was snow plowing. The sky was falling. The snow was falling. Are they going to be able to take care of it all like we do? We're going to be able to look at the contracts and do this stuff. But yes. That's our own disbelief of us. Is that really putting I guess the word I'm looking for is that really putting confidence in our team. I mean, our team has to be able to lead that stuff too. We have to, as leaders, be able to lead our team and let them run the company.
Yes. I think for me, what really can reignite my spark is creating new things. That's something that I've noticed, is creating new things and then also bringing in others to collaborate, creating those new things. I get a lot of energy from that.
Tons of energy. Mm-hmm. Yes. I do believe that. I think that is one of your gifts, is that you can start something, you look at all the different angles and how you can do it, and I'm kind of the one that can see it, and I can say, hey, this is what we want to do and what we're going to do, and then Athena just makes it all happen on a lot of things. And then sometimes she could see it and I can't see any of it, and then she'll lay it out, and I'm like, oh, that looks really good. I didn't think that, It's the different abilities that we have.
Yeah, and it's being open to receiving each other's perspective. That early on in business, it was a challenge for us because we were so bent on being right and relaxing into, we're not always right. We don't always need to have the answers, and bringing in these other perspectives really is of value.
I think it's, we like our management team. Our team has really kind of come up. They've really done well. They really mean well. It's time for them. Yeah, it's time for them to have that in their life, and they're looking for that next step. They're looking to how they can raise themselves up. So I think you've done a great job in grooming those things. I think we have. It's created a lot of extra time for us to be able to go do things, which we enjoy.
Yes, and I also think that it's in trusting them to continue in their growth and to do the things that they've been hired to do, then we get to go run these creative little experiments in these other corners with different revenue streams. And one of them that I see that has really lifted your spark is being in the real estate business. And creating those places.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't own a whole lot of houses back in the day now, and we've just a lot of reinvested some of the money that we have made within BAC and for AMT and some other things that we've done. And, just like anything else, that you've done it for 25 years, 26 years, I don't want to say it's on autopilot. We have a great team that's running it, but it definitely gives us a little bit more time and availability to work on our short-term rentals. That's something I really like, and I enjoy. I enjoy that people pop on and rent your places, and you make money off of it, and you do well. And then insurance companies, working with insurance companies, and have them be able to rent out your houses for 4 to 6 months at a time because somebody else had a flood. I mean, some of this stuff is there, and it's low key. It's like there's not a lot of drama around it. There's not a ton of employees around it. We have some great contractors. We have some great people, but again, it's lower hanging fruit.
Can you tell a spark has been lit in him in that corner?
I just enjoy it. And there's lots of other things that we're looking at. We're looking at another piece of property to building some things on right now. We're looking at different opportunities, and that is more of, I think, the more creative side of it. BAC and AMT, BAC was something I drew on the back of a napkin with a friend of mine that we started the company with, and we kind of just said, hey, we could do a better job on this, but never thought in 25 years later we'd be at where we're at now. It's evolved. It's there, and it's always going to be, I don't want to say my baby. It's always going to be my, my love and my, what I enjoy. But there's some other things that in my life that I've gotten into a different season of life that I enjoy too. And so it's nice to be able to have people that are helping running the company while you're here. And we still come in 3-4 days a week, when we're in state, and we're always available by phone. But there's some new cool things that I think gives me a little bit different spark these days, and I still enjoy the ambulance side. I still ride on the ambulance once in a while. I still will run as a medic once in a while, but I don't have to do it all the time. I don't have to run all those decisions. We always have a manager on duty, and we all kind of take turns on that. But our team is so good that we don't get a whole lot of phone calls anymore about crazy things. It used to be like, the toilet won't flush upstairs. What do you want me to do? I don't know. What's wrong with it? It's plugged. Well, then unplug it. You want me to unplug it? No, I didn't plug it, It's your deal. You get it undone, Are you really calling the CEO of the company to ask him about unplugging the toilet? Just crazy things. And I just use that as an example because it's funny, but these are some of the things that you would get phone calls at nighttime about. So anyways, I just look at that and I think, there's new times in our life that new things are coming up, and we just got through doing 2 houses. We just got through building a brand new house in Big Lake, and we just got through remodeling a house in Anchorage, and those are 2 big projects. And I felt myself at these projects all the time, pushing it through and trying to make sure things are getting done and learning about it, because there's so much on there that we've never done like that before.
Yeah.
We've always bought houses and remodeled them, but never to the extent that we did on these ones. So I felt very privileged to be part of that. And, and I guess I love the progression of seeing everything kind of come together. Like Athena has this amazing look on how houses are going to look. And all of us sometimes scratch our head and think, how is this going to turn out? Like this house does not look like it's going to turn out that way.
I think that this is reminding me of a screenshot. I got a picture of one of my wallpaper jobs in one of the bathrooms, and it was like, WTF, am I being punked right now?
Yeah, I still don't think that is the wallpaper I would have ever picked.
I love that sweet little bathroom. Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah, as much as you could love a sweet little bathroom.
Every time I think about that, I am like, it just makes me smile, because it's just
Let's even bring it back. Our contractor goes, wait till you see the wallpaper we just put up in the bathroom. And he sent me a picture, and I'm like, shut up. And I drove up there immediately, and I'm thinking, Athena, what were you thinking on this stuff, It was just this interesting.
I'm going to have Joseph put a little picture of what that looks like so everybody can see. It was trending to have a black walled room, and I decided to make a bathroom this color, and I needed something to soften up the darker color. And so I picked this really sweet, like little critters. These are little animals that would be living in the backyard, and the Alaska rose flowers and the ferns, and it's just adorable. And
as long as I've lived here, I haven't seen those animals in there.
It definitely did what I wanted it to, which was soften that space. And, but yes, Charlie's never seen berries or flowers or ferns on the wall before. So it was a...
You know, we make this newer looking house and we do all this, you know, upgrades to it. And then I walk in the bathroom, you see this beautiful bathroom and shower and, you know, everything. Then you turn around and you look at the door and then there's this wallpaper around it. And you're like, what the hell were you thinking when you picked this wallpaper out? And it was funny because the contractors called me and they know Athena and they know me. So there's this creative side and then there's this like, you know, want everything to look sharp and polished and things like this, and I have that side, and they're like, wait till you see this wallpaper. And I'm like, oh my word. Or wait till you see these stairs, this back stuff that she's putting on the stairs. I'm like, oh, why would we put this on the stairs? But again, I shouldn't question it because it usually comes out really good.
It always comes out really good.
I wouldn't say always. I think the wallpaper on that bathroom, I'm still, the jury's out on that one. But it gives you humor. It gives you a lot of humor. It makes you happy. And I don't think it affects our rental, so I'm okay with it. Once we start coming in there like, hey, we're not renting this place because of this, that it's going to get peeled off. And you're going to see a nice bold stripe in there.
Yeah, and so, you know, that brings me to this place of where what helps me maintain my spark is calling out the amusement and receiving the joy from that amusement. We actually have a game that we play here at BAC where we point out regular amusement because sometimes things can just feel so heavy and you just need to laugh. And so it's not necessarily like, this is a great example that we just described about how I receive the amusement. I'm not offended that he doesn't love the wallpaper.
She laughs because of it.
I love the fact that he's got an opinion about it and that he texted me a "Am I being punked?" message because it just makes me laugh. His personality and how he sees it makes me laugh. And so I really... It
wouldn't be the first time she's punked me.
No, I remember one conversation we had where you're like, I don't know what's happening right now, but I know how you are and you don't do anything without intention. So what is happening right now? Like, this is way too easy. What is happening?
Yeah, well.
And I'm like, it's okay. You're safe. It's okay.
Yeah.
But that's a big piece of how I continue to uplift myself is receiving amusement when maybe early on in my journey, I would be offended or I would take offense to it and be like, well, I can't believe you said that to me about that. It doesn't serve you at all. And so pointing out where things can be amusing, sometimes I'll even do a little video and I'll be like, Athena's latest amusement for the day. And I'll send it to a few friends. Because it's fun. It is just fun to remind us all that it's not so serious and that everybody can just be who they are.
Well, then Athena's funny bone is a little bit different than a lot of other people's funny bone. She got amused with this damn song the other day and she keeps talking about it for a week now. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my word. And I heard it. I'm like, what are you thinking? And she just laughed about it. And it's this hilarious thing that our grandson wanted to listen to this one song and Athena just thought it was there. And I remember I was taking a nap at home and I wasn't feeling so well and I was at home and I was doing this and she calls me up and she's so excited about this whole thing. I'm like, what is this over a song? What are you doing? And she's like, I'm going to send it to you. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to even listen to this right now.
Yeah, he's like, whatever,
yeah, okay.
But what's funny is this is something that, yes, him and I are laughing in the car. My daughter's laughing in the car. And then I shared the story with another person and they listened to the song and they started laughing. And so it's like, this stuff is contagious. Like, you not only can be managing your own spark for life, not just work, because work is your life. For those of you who need reminders, it's all your life. And it's like enjoying it and finding that joy and how you receive joy.
And I think we have to look at is work doesn't have to be all your life either. You know, I mean, like work is a vessel to get you to where you want to be at in life, and it helps you pay your bills, and it helps put kids through college, and it helps retirement and things like this. But again, you have to have a life outside of work also, and that's something for you guys knowing that you're employees too. I mean, that we always have those go-to people that we can always call, but what kind of time are we taking away from their life and things like that too? That's why we always kind of ask for volunteers and things like that, people that want to do more to help with their family. But again, we used to be those 20-hour-a-day people, that we do it 20 hours a day and, answer our phones all night. And we still get those phone calls once in a great while, not near like we used to because we have a staff to take care of them.
You get those phone calls?
Yeah, once in a while, yeah. Not near as bad anymore. When you have 15 hours of time, like when we're in Egypt and you get that phone call, it's like 8 in the morning there, but it's like 3 o'clock in the morning our time. You're like, oh my word, who's calling me this late? But they have no idea that we're in Egypt, so. I do appreciate that, reigniting your spark, new things give us spark, it's kind of like when you get a new car, you've had that car for 7 or 8 years and you get the new car and all of a sudden it drives itself, or, you have automatic headlights now.
Just for the record, he doesn't keep cars for 7 or 8 years.
You usually don't either. You have some cars that are a couple of years old, but you don't. Both of us don't.
But it's the new car. It's something fresh. It's new. It's you're learning. You're discovering and
what you like and what you don't like. What you want, what you don't want.
Yeah, and really, it's like getting into a regular routine of some kind, whether you're playing the amusement game in your office or at home with people that you care about, or you're deciding that you have a regular ritual of like Sundays are really reconnect days for me. I have a routine that involves meditation and connecting. I do a breathwork class with a group of friends of mine, and I have a yoga class that I attend on Sundays, and it's really this like beautiful reconnection point for me. And yes, do I have other moments like that throughout the week? I do. However, Sundays are really a routine that I've built in for myself, that this is how I level myself to bring the spark back up for the coming week.
And my Sunday kind of looks up like I kind of get up and I turn on the TV and get a little football in and watch different games and talk to some friends and look out over the lake, and maybe I'll go snow blow the back porch off, but it's kind of a mellow day for both of us. I think it's kind of our day, what we want to do, and what she likes to do and what I like to do. Sometimes they're the same and sometimes they're different. So
yeah. And it's being okay with that. Like I think you went to lunch with some friends last Sunday.
Yeah, last Sunday some friends called up, and Mark and Matt, we went all to lunch over at the brewery, and we were looking at their place.
It's helpful to live right across the parking lot from a restaurant.
It was so funny. Matt's like, do you need a ride over to your house? I'm like, throw a rock and hit it. No. I appreciate it's cold outside, but I don't need to go that 75 yards. Now, if I was in shorts or something like that and we had this frost come in, I'd think that it is. But, it was just nice of him to ask. But I walked over. It was funny. But, yeah, we're super close to on the lake next to the brewery. So we're thankful for that.
Like moving from joy to a place of that amusement also includes remembering that we're all human and that sometimes things have unintended outcomes, and we can choose how we respond to that, and also giving ourselves permission to be human. And I think a good example is listening to your body. Like earlier this week, for instance, you're like, I'm wiped. Like I'm not going into the office. I need to rest today, and that's what's right for you.
Yeah. Coming back from such a warm climate, I've been struggling to get warm, and I've been on this health kick about losing weight and doing some other stuff, so I don't have that RF factor anymore that I usually do.
The extra lining?
The extra lining, yes. And so it was a little bit of coming back to the cold and readjusting yourself back there. And, we've been back for a couple of weeks now, but last week I just kind of felt a little sick and I just didn't feel up to 100% par. And, when you're down and you bring it to your team, it kind of brings them down a little bit. So sometimes you're just better off being at the house and just, having somebody else be in there and take it there. And, I'll come in and help do some stuff there. But I just decided at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I don't want to beat that rush hour traffic going back to Big Lake. So I'll just, motor back into town and go there. And, what I love about Big Lake, it kind of resets me a little bit too, looking out over that frozen ice now, and I'm looking forward to the winter. I'm looking forward to actually getting my big warm snow machine gear and be able to go out and do some snow machining this year, and looking for some winter sports that we're having fun. Right now we're like the in-between season. The water just went out like a week and a half ago, and I remember telling Athena I was looking at half the lake was frozen, the other half was unfrozen. I'm like, this would be a great sign if it was like April or May, like the water's going to be out any time now.
The water's coming back.
We're the opposite way now. So it's exciting to know that we're going to be freezing up here soon, and we're going to be able to do some fun stuff at the house, and that kind of regenerates me too. That lets me know that I have a good week and have some friends up, and we go up and go do some riding, and the family and some other people that we look forward to that. And we're very lucky to live in such a place that everybody wants to come up and visit here. So there's no lack of people coming up during the summertime to hang out with and do things with. We have a lot of good friends that come up every year, and we get to spend time with them. And then we have some people in the industry that want to come up and hang out and do some things too. So we're very lucky that we have a lot of that stuff. And I think that regenerates us too. So that's nice. It gives us the human side of the business on that side too. That's a lot of these people are affiliates or people that we work with or do things with, and that lets them come up and see a beautiful part of Alaska. And then they talk about Alaska, and then we get referrals over it. We get people that want to come up and visit us all the time. So
there's something special about where we live, and it isn't just the Arctic in my mind. It is this like magical place where Mother Nature exists in ways that it exists in no other spaces that we've traveled. Canada comes pretty close, but it's different, especially when you're in your own country. And it's like, I think that we actually get this like infusion of joy from others who come to visit because we see it for the first time again through their eyes.
Yeah. It's funny when you have somebody that comes up and they'll ask you, what's that mountain? And what's he doing? Or look at those peaks, or look at those glaciers. Because as we're driving down the highway, we're keeping track on what's going on the road, what's going on with business, what's going on with other things. But then when you're touring somebody and they see it for the first time, just like Athena says, it makes us realize what a special place that we live in and how nice it is. And, we do a lot of traveling, and we've motorhome from here all the way down to Texas all the way to Florida all the way back to Arizona. We've seen some beautiful areas, some areas that just, majestic skies and things like this. But as I was driving in today, it was super foggy this morning, and it was like, holy tamale. I could see why there was a lot of bad traffic and things that were coming in. But as you looked at those mountains and the landscape, it was just like, wow, you look down there and that's pretty epic. And I was warm in my truck with the heated seats on, the heated steering wheel, and it was 74 degrees in the truck, but it was nice. It was nice to listen to some music on my way and kind of defrag in. So it was a beautiful drive in this morning, once the fog left up, and it was nice. It was a pretty drive in. So, we're that kind of helps us out too,
And that drive, some people loathe going on a commute or having a commute every day, but I love that commute because that is 75 minutes of time where I'm listening to a podcast or I'm working out an idea in my mind. And it does help that my car does have level 2 self-driving, so it has these layers of safety features. And I just look at that as like, this is just this time that I just have this window every day. And if you're somebody who's on a commute and you have been cursing your commute, well, I would encourage you to be looking at what are some areas that I can use this time in a way that I'm reigniting my spark, the things that I enjoy. Maybe it's listening to a comedy skit on Spotify while you're driving. Who knows? But I'm just saying is that we have these opportunities to reframe the experience that we're in, especially when we've chosen to do these things that's created this experience.
Well, and I feel like it's worth it. It's worth it to make the drive. I mean, like right now we have this amazing house that's on the lake, and you get to see it. You get to see the lights, and you get to see. And then pretty soon we'll see snow machines. Like last week we got to see a bunch of fishermen out there, and that were out there drilling holes all over the ice. And you're thinking, is the ice thick enough? So that was kind of the conversation. And it's good enough for people to be walking around on right now. I wouldn't be riding anything out there, but
We
in some
told the
areas
kids
it's not.
to not get on the lake. We don't want to see you walking on the lake right now.
We don't get on the ice until we see big rigs like
Cars
yeah,
and trucks.
cars and loaders and things like that. We have a good solid 8 to 12 inches. I remember we had
Absolutely.
Bill Faith and JR up here, and they were like, we're snow machining on ice, and they could hear it crack, and they're like, this is not good, And I remember JR looking down at the ice, and he goes, it's only 2 or 3 inches thick. And I'm like, JR, it's like a foot thick. He goes, no, I can see the water. I'm like, yeah, it's a little deceiving.
Illusion.
Yeah, it's a little deceiving. He's like, we're out of here.
Well, Charlie, this episode is going to be airing on the day before the new year. And so do you have any thoughts to looking towards the future that you'd like to leave our guests with, our viewers, that is like speaking into 2026?
Well, new horizons are coming up. I mean, there's going to be new things going on for BAC this year. We have a lot of different irons in the fire that we're looking at and how we're going to really inject ourselves more in the tourism side this year. So that's going to be exciting. And doing some tourism groups this year. I mean, that's going to be an exciting thing. Again, with the airport business being so busy and accumulating anywhere from 125 to 300 trips a day, it's know that we're going to be able to take on some tourism stuff. And what I love about the tourism side, it's such a positive aspect. People are here for their first time or their second or third time, and they want to see Alaska, and they're so thrilled to see everything that's going on. And our customers really enjoy our drivers and the talks and the feedback loop that you get from it. So with the pilots and the flight attendants, we get a lot of good feedback. We have a lot of friends that are pilots and flight attendants and things like that, and you get good feedback on it, and you get some things like, hey, this person was a couple minutes late, and you're like, hey, thank you. Let me see how we can fix this. But when you look at the excitement that some of these people bring coming up here for the first time, I mean, this is a bucket list for a lot of people. And it used to be an older bucket list, but now it seems like it's such a younger generation that's coming up here now, as world travel is not as prevalent right now for a lot of people. Alaska's within their sights. It's in the United States, and it's safe here. It's not, we don't have any craziness going on up here. Like we have to worry about bombings or shootings, or you're going to get stuck somewhere in the lower 48. You're going to get stuck somewhere in another country. You're going to. We're here within our own country, so I appreciate that. So I'm super excited about some of the things that are coming up. I'm excited for some of the new adventures we're going to get into, and what's that going to lead into, and where is that going to lead? There's a lot of cool things coming up on the horizon.
I think for me, what I would want to leave our listeners with for moving into the new year is decide what it is that you want. Just decide. Make the decision. Who are the people that you want to work with? What is your version of being in alignment with the people that you're working with and the people that you're doing business with? And start getting really clear about that and see what happens. You will be surprised at what you notice when you start to get clear about what you want. And we're moving forward, and we're moving out of spaces that create resistance. And there are some spaces that are just creating excitement, and it can feel a little bit of a challenge at first, and I don't count those as resistance. I'm talking about being around others who get it, want it, and can do it.
I think like-minded.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's some of the groups that we've joined too. I mean, some of the groups that we've joined and gotten involved with and travel with and do things, a lot of like-mindedness. Not 100%. There's some people that are just at this spectrum, and some people are at this spectrum. And I want to say I'm in the middle from here to here. But those are good things to be around too. It's a nice
Absolutely.
Positive energy. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so once you've made the decision, write it out. When we're imagining a new product, I'm literally voice messaging myself, and I'm dreaming it up. I'm imagining what the sales department's going to look like. I'm imagining how it's going to feel. I'm imagining what the deliverables are going to be. And so it's getting really clear about that, because when you get clear about stuff, then these other things that are affecting it in an adverse way, they end up dissipating, because you're just nope, that's not where we're headed. And so it's a new way to frame, like, what's my goals for 2026? Think about it.
You know, it's like a fog. As we were coming in this morning, it was super foggy, and then all of a sudden it just got clear as a day, and you could see as far as the sight could see. I mean, it was just absolutely beautiful. You know, you came out of that fog, and I think a lot of us are in the fog sometimes. I think a lot of us are driving that fog, and we're driving that little bit under cautious. We're being a little bit more optimistic about, hey, is this a safe way to go home?
Yeah.
Is this like there? But all of a sudden you come around the horizon and it just gets warm enough where that fog lifts and everything's just super beautiful, and you're like, yeah, this is not a bad day. This is a good day. This is going to be an easy day to come into town, and yeah, it's going to be more clear. And I think we, as business owners, sometimes get a little cloudy. I think we need just a little clarity, and we see little things, and we're able to chase after it and grab it and run with it. So,
Well, thank you for joining us on this episode. We will be seeing you in 2026, and we are so excited to kick off the new year. So find us at Raise Up Mindset. If you've just happened to fall upon our podcast at one of the areas that you receive podcasts, all of season 1 and the episodes from season 2 are at raiseupmindset.com.
we look forward to it, and have a good 2025 year, a good, safe New Year's, and we look forward to seeing you in 2026.
Yes.
See you guys later. Bye.